congratulate this institution for organizing this faculty development program. I think this is the third or fourth attempt of this institution. Now, today I am going to focus on the new education policy. All of you are listening from the last 6 months about the new education policy. First of all, I would like to give some uh, history of the education. Now, all of you are known that the first education policy was implemented in 1968. The Kothari Commission was appointed by the government. That commission was taken the 4 year. He has given their report to the government, and from the 1968, as per the Kothari Commission's recommendations, the government has adopted his recommendation, and as per that, the education policy was in existence. What was the basic suggestion or recommendation by the Kothari Commission? The first was free and compulsory education, teacher education, common education structure in the country, and the main was the emphasis on radicular restructuring and equal opportunity. And the structure of education system was 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, or in broad we say it as 10 plus 2 plus 3 education pattern was adopted. Then after 1968, the second education commission was appointed, and was during uh, the period of our honorable late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1986. During that period, the education minister was K.C. Pant, and as per his recommendation, the main focus was, all of you know that during Rajiv Gandhi, the so many number of Navodaya Vidyalaya was started. It was one of the most important recommendation by that education policy. And the structure was 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. And that during that, this, and the main was the approach of that is child centric approach. And the second focus was, after opening or establishing the Navodaya Vidyalaya, there was a broad focus on distant education. And during that period, so many open universities was established, and they had started the so many courses for the students which are not directly enrolled on the education system. Then there was the second focus was on professional education and education for all. This national education policy adopted in 1986 was revised in 1992 with the modification based on recommendation of Ramamurthy committee that was set up in 1990. Then again, this education policy was again revised in 2009. Professor Yeshpal committee was appointed for that, and as per his recommendation and advice, the renovation and rejuvenation of education was started. And now, today, I want to focus the new education policy 2020. This new education policy, the chairman of this commission was Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan. Means after 34 years, this new education policy was adopted by the central government on 29th July 2020. And the structure is somewhat changed. In earlier education policy, there was not a focus on the before entering the student in the school, there was not focus, but particularly in this education policy, the age group of 3 to 6 was also considered, and that student get admitted in the school after completing his age of 3, and 3 to 6 year in this age group, that student will be prepared to learn and become eligible to take admission in the first class. And first to second class, it is again divided. It is means not a pre-primary section, first to second. And from third to fifth, it is the primary education system. 6 to 8, it is the secondary education system. And from 9 to 12, that is the higher secondary education, and later on there will the student will be entered in the higher education. Yes, now I will share with you my some screens. So what is the aim of this screen? What is the main aim of this new education policy? The new aim of this education policy is transforming India. We say it as an Bharat, transforming India into a vibrant knowledge society. This is the main aim or motto of this new education policy. And the main focus in this new education policy, some silent features of this new education policy, I will tell you. First one is the first one is in there is a in present education system there is a hard boundaries, because science stream students cannot take the cannot learn the uh, subject from the art stream, cannot learn the subject from the commerce stream. Means there is a hard barrier between the faculties or the streams. Second thing, there is a no flexibility for the students. He cannot select the program as per his interest. He doesn't have the choice of multidisciplinary. Third is the students are learning in a rote manner. He doesn't have, means students are learning for examination. What is asked in the examination? For the facing the examination, he is learning. First screen, second screen. Yeah. Screen is visible to everybody. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's
Yeah.
visible, sir.
Second. Yeah. Third thing is that there is a no focus on the soft skills. So many times we observe that student get passed from the take the degree, but after taking the degree, he is not able to present himself. He doesn't have a communication skill. He cannot able to debate on a given topic or anything on which he can want to give his suggestions. Means such there is a lacuna of such soft skills in the present education system. Third one is
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
Your screen is visible, sir, but it's you have opened your Gmail account. Your inbox is visible only. Yeah.
Okay. A screen is not
You are
visible.
not sharing your. I mean, this is not presentation, I think.
Yeah. Gmail account gets open. Sharing. Presenting. You are presenting.
Sharing the
Hello.
please allow
Yes, sir.
sharing.
Please allow me to share my screen.
Yes, sir. You can share, sir. You have already presenting yourself.
Yeah.
Your Gmail inbox is open at your side. You are presenting your Gmail.
That is open.
Okay.
Oh, okay. 1 minute, sir.
Yes, sir.
The sharing option is on.
Question out there.
This take a PPT.
It visible, sir?
No, sir. You
No.
have open your mailbox only, sir. First close that and then reopen.
Close email box close करो आणि नंतर याला क्लोज करा जीमेल बॉक्स याला हा क्लोज करा स्क्रीन
Desktop.
Your screen is visible that you are composing the mail. First close that one and open your presentation.
ओके
Yes, sir.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir. Now we can see.
Yeah. Third.
Now it is all right.
Okay.
Share करो. Share करो. Screen
up
next.
down.
You can open that presentation in Microsoft PowerPoint.
Yeah. Up.
Later it will be.
हाँ this one याला मोठं हे कसं काय झालं बरंच
Screen share करो. Screen share म्हणजे Google Meet वर आहे का?
Yes, is it visible, sir?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Then in the sorry for the disturbance. Now the main thing in the present education system is there is a not a
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Can you please download that presentation on your desktop and open it? It's not that
Yeah.
visible.
Technical
So download that
Sir,
entire
I
presentation.
have already downloaded on my desktop.
No, it's not download. It's
Yeah. It must be put there.
just from screen sharing allow करायला पाहिजे ते.
Sir, I suggest you to close this one. First download it and reopen in the Microsoft PowerPoint presentation.
Microsoft PowerPoint presentation मध्ये झालं.
Yes,
sir.
Export.
The third screen घ्या. Next
Slide. Just
is it visible, sir?
Sir, previous slide is open already, sir.
Previous one. Okay. Previous.
Sir. Sir.
Is it visible?
Sir, actually, if you have opened previously, that only we can see here.
He shared that. New education policy vision including following changes to the current. Is it visible, sir? This screen?
Sir, we can see that National Education Policy 2020. That slide. Previous one which you have opened on in Google Slides. Yes, sir. Now it's visible. The new education policy which includes following changes to the current system.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Is it visible now? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then,
Please.
yes, before implementing this new education policy, what was the lacuna in the, or the government will have make some changes in the old education system due to this some limitations. What limitation that old education system or policy has? First of all, it has a rigid boundaries. Students has not uh, opportunity to study different discipline subject at a time. Second thing means hard separation between the stream. There was no multidisciplinary and holistic approach. Third one is the some soft skill. There is a lacuna to introduce or have a knowledge of some soft skill or uh, incorporated the soft skill in the student. Third one is the synergy in curriculum across all levels of education. Extensive use of technology was there was a lacuna in the present education system. Third one and next one is there is a ethics and human constitutional values like respect to other, cleanliness, courtesy, democracy spirit. Then all these lacunas that were in the present education system, they are incorporated and overcome. And this new education policy was adopted by the government in 29th July 2020. And so we say this education policy as new education policy 2020. Then in this new education policy, what visions or what changes the government has adopted? The first one is more disciplinary approach in undergraduate education. There is a to have more faculty and institutional autonomy. In the present education system, there is no autonomy to the faculty as well as the institution to uh, uh, design the curriculum at their institutional level, but within the given broad framework. Yes. Third is the higher education system consisting of large multidisciplinary colleges and university with at least one or near every district. Means this higher education means it is essential that there will be one higher education institution in every district or nearby the district that will have a multidisciplinary facilities available, and minimum strength of the student in that institution should be 3,000 or more than the 3,000, so that institution should be self-sustainable. Then renewing curriculum, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support for the enhancement of the student. Because the present curriculum is, so many times we say that it is the old curriculum, so we have to renew that curriculum, the teaching method, that is the pedagogy, the assessment method, because nowadays we are having the examination, annual examination or the semester examination, but in the new education policy, there will be the continuous assessment of the student in the classroom. And so there are the stake or the burden of the student about the examination will be somewhat released. Then reaffirming the integrity of faculty and institutional leadership position through merit appointments. Because even if the autonomy is given to the institution, but the important thing is that the infrastructure is not important. The faculty are more important. And so the appointment of the faculty in the institution should be made on the merit basis, and their career progression should be based on teaching, research, and service, not on the length of the service. Nowadays, we get the increment after completing the 1 year of our service. But in the new education policy, it is recommended that our increments, etc., will depend on our teaching, research, and service. Then there is the establishment of National Research Foundation. All of you know that in the college level, presently the research is at very beginning stage. In so many colleges, no research took place. So in a new education policy, there is a recommendation of establishment of the National Research Foundation, and that National Research Foundation will fund to the institution, that may be the university as well as the colleges, for their peer-reviewed research and research activity. The governance of higher education by high qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. There is a governance of now presently our higher education system, particularly the colleges and universities, are governed by the joint director, and the university. But in the new education policy, there will be the body of governance, board of governance will be established, and eminent persons from the different various fields will be appointed on that board of governance, and that will have total administrative autonomy. The new education policy will be light but tight. Regulation by single regulatory system, that is the board of governance. There is in present education system, there is no access. There is no access to the socio-economically disadvantaged group, particularly in a tribal area or some remote area. Some districts are having their gross enrollment ratio very less. In Maharashtra also, Raigad, Jalna, Hingoli, Gadchiroli. Then in that particular region, the access will be made available for the students in the higher education system. Means new education system will be inclusive. It will give opportunity. It will try to involve the all students from tribal as well as rural socio-economical groups. And there is a end of fragmentation of higher education, transforming higher education institution into a large multidisciplinary universities or colleges and higher education institutions clusters. Means by 2030, there will be no any single college affiliated to the university, but that college will get converted into the degree granting college. It will have all types of autonomy regarding the curriculum, assessment, and so on. But if the small colleges are there, they should have to form a cluster, and that cluster will, through that cluster, they will give an they will because small, what is the limitation for the small colleges? They are not able to offer a multidisciplinary courses programs at their level. So so many colleges will come together. They will form a cluster, and through that cluster they will give a facility of multidisciplinary programs to the students. And if some colleges, they are not able to form a cluster, gets converted into the autonomous degree granting colleges, then such affiliated colleges remain. They will be run by the university in the near future. Then university means what? Presently we know that university is running only the PG program, research program. Yes, but they are not offering the undergraduate program. But in the new education policy, it is recommended that the university will be a multidisciplinary higher learning that will offer graduate, undergraduate programs with quality teaching, research, and community. Among them, some university will focus on research, some university will be focused on teaching only. Then on that basis, the universities that are focusing emphasis on the research, that will be called as the research intensive university. The university which are focusing, emphasizing on the teaching only, that will be called as the teaching intensive university. And other colleges, autonomous colleges, will be called as the autonomous degree granting colleges. By 2030, at least there will be one large multidisciplinary higher education institution in every district. We know that as per the data of the 2018, the gross enrollment ratio in higher education was 26.3. By 2035, the aim of the government is to increase that gross enrollment ratio to 50%. Yes. Then the institution will have option ODL, that is open distance learning and online programs, who are accredited to so. The most important thing is that small colleges, cluster of colleges, they are not able to offer the so many multidisciplinary courses at a time. So the students enrolled in their colleges or cluster of colleges, they have opportunity to learn some courses with ODL, open distance learning. And some institution as well as colleges will also run the ODL, open distance learning programs. But for that, accreditations will be given by the government or accrediting body to do so. Only that institution will be able to run such ODL programs. Towards more holistic and multidisciplinary education, all of us, we know that the India has a long tradition of holistic and multidisciplinary learning from the universities like Takshashila, Nalanda, and so on. We know that in the old days, as per the Banabhatta's Kadambari described, good education is knowledge of 64 kalas or arts that were not only the subject but scientific fields. This is the view of the recommendation of in the new education policy, that 64 kalas were the subjects or that have a scientific base, scientific field that were. Now in the present education system, there is a limitation because engineering college running only the vocational program, IITs are running only the vocational program. But in the new education policy, it is recommended that the engineering colleges, IITs will also move toward the holistic and multidisciplinary education. Means in IIT, the social science programs will be started, commerce programs will be started. In engineering also, sociology, philosophy, psychology, such programs will be started. Then imaginative and flexible curricular structure will be enabled creative combination of discipline for study and would offer multiple entry and exit point. This is the most important recommendation in the new education policy. When the student gets entered, presently there is a degree, it will be of 3 years or 4 years. 3 years degree means the student, if he want to exit after completing 1 year of his degree program, then he will get a certificate course. He will get a certificate. After completing 2 years of his degree, he will get the diploma certificate. And after completing 3 years of his degree, he will get a degree certificate. But degree programs will be of two types: 3-year degree program and 4-year degree program. The student who will appear for the 4-year degree program means that 4 year will be totally devoted for the research, and after completing 4-year degree program, that student is directly eligible to register for the PhD. And the student who has completed 3-year degree program and he has to take or take admission in the postgraduate program, then he will have 2-year degree postgraduate program, and after completing 2 years of the postgraduate program, he will become eligible to take admission for the PhD program. Means 3 years and 4 years degree programs is the optional one. And during this 4-year, 3-year degree program, the student has a opportunity to select the subject as per his interest from any stream. That may be, if a particular student from the art stream is interested in the physics, he will took admission in the physics program, which is related with the science stream, and he will complete a particular credit from this program. Means all the student has to register his name in DigiLocker. Means this DigiLocker is very much important. In that DigiLocker, the students who register his name in the DigiLocker, what courses he has selected, and how many credits he earned from that particular course will be stored in that DigiLocker. And after completing particular credits, the students will get awarded with the degree. So there is a academic credit bank or academic bank of credit that will be established, and that academic credits of the each and individual student will be stored in the DigiLocker. Then higher education institution will have flexibility to offer different design of master program. Again, similar to the UG, for the PG program also, there will be the 2 years PG program and 1 year PG program. The student who have completed 4 years UG program will complete 1 year master program. The student who had completed 3-year degree program will enter for the 2 years PG program. And some institution may also offer directly a 5-year integrated bachelor master program. Means after 5 years, the students will get a master degree and will be directly registered his name for the PhD and eligible for the profession like the lecturer. For effective learning, there will be a comprehensive approach for appropriate curriculum, engaging pedagogy, continuous formative assessment, and adequate student support. For promoting creativity, institution and faculty will have autonomy to innovate on matters of curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment within a broad framework of higher education qualification. We know that the success of any institution is related with their faculty, and if the faculty has autonomy to design the curriculum, as a freedom to design the curriculum, to make the assessment, to develop the pedagogy, within a broad framework. The choice-based credit system will be revised for instilling innovation and flexibility. Higher education institution will also move away from high-stake examination towards more continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Now, presently, students are learning for facing the examination. So they have a burden of the examination. And so they are learning for examination. They are not incorporating some skills expected from the learning of that particular program. And so this examination pattern should be changed, and there should be the continuous and comprehensive internal assessment or evaluation of the student. Second thing, each institution will integrate its academic plans ranging from curricular improvement to quality of classroom transaction into its larger institutional development plan. Every institution has to develop the institutional development plan, and that institutional development plans should be correlated with their curriculum, curricular improvement, classroom transaction methods, and so on. And the mechanism and opportunity for funding of topic-centered clubs and activities. So, teacher will have autonomy how to teach a particular topic, how to teach a particular program. So, for that, some debating is required. Some clubs they have to establish. Then such topic-centered clubs and activities that are organized by the student with the help of their faculty or other experts hired by the institution, that activity will be funded by the funded by the institution, and for that the government will provide the fund. For the socio-economically disadvantaged background student, the colleges and university will require to set up high quality support centers and will be given adequate funds and resources to carry this out effectively. We know that the socio-economically disadvantaged background students, they are not the first thing. The first problem before us is that students are not enrolling their name. So what is the aim of each and every institution? They should have to approach to that socio-economically backward disadvantaged student, go towards them, make them aware about the employability opportunity after completing their higher education. If they become aware of that, then they will be promoted, they will be motivated to enroll their name in the higher education system. And for that, for taking such efforts, the adequate funds will be given by the government. Third one is the ODL, the Open Distance Learning and Online Education, that will provide a natural path to increase the access to quality education. All of us know that the small colleges, some universities, small universities, they have limitations to give the advanced knowledge, to avail the advanced programs to their students. So these limitations of such institution will be solved through the ODL, Open Distance Learning. Means the institution has to make aware of the student. So what programs are available on the ODL, and encourage their students to enroll through that ODL and complete the credits, and they will be able to have a knowledge of that programs. Only there is some limitation for the practical subjects through the ODL. Then government have established some commissions through UGC, IITs, NITs, how that lab-oriented skills should be developed in the students or inculcate in the student through the ODL. Then for promoting students for the socio-economically disadvantaged student, the important thing is the financial support to these students, socio-economically disadvantaged students. For that, there should be a national scholarship portal. It should be established for the SC, ST, and OBC student as well as the socio-economically disadvantaged student. This financial national scholarship portal not only provide the scholarship to the student, but also they have a tracking system should also be available. The student to whom the government has given a scholarship, what is their progression of that reserve category student should be tracked through this portal, National Scholarship Portal. And at the same time, in this new education policy, it is recommended that the private higher education institution should be encouraged to offer large number of free and scholarship to their students. Then internationalization. We know that so many students take their education from the India, but as compared with the developed country, the foreign students coming in the India for education, that number is very small. In the new education policy, it is expected that this number should be increased to a large extent. So for that, it is motivated to the research institution, higher education institution to make collaborations with the foreign or abroad universities. There should be the faculty and student exchange with the high quality foreign institutions, and there should be the facilitated and relevant mutually beneficial, means there should be MOU will be formed with the foreign country, and it is targeted in this new education policy that around 100 foreign universities will be facilitated. They will open their campus in the India. Then student activity and participation. Opportunity for participation in the sports, eco clubs, community services will also be promoted. Motivated, energized, and capable faculty. We know that faculty is the first important part of any education system. That if that faculty is motivated, energized, and capable, then and then only they will work with devotion, will spare more time in that institutions. For that, for the success of any higher education institution, the engagement of its faculty with the institution is very important. For motivated and capable faculty, what should be done? For that, all basic infrastructure should be available in every higher education institution. The basic facilities like classroom, pleasant classroom will be there, potable drinking water, clean working toilets, pleasant atmosphere in the higher education institute should be there. And the most important thing is that the teaching duties of this faculty should not be excessive. Second thing, the student teacher ratio should not be too high. If the duties of the faculty will not excessive, student teacher ratio is small, then the faculty will work with devotion. They will be committed, connected, and invested to their institution and the community, and it will have a positive outcome expected from that institution. And in that, the faculty will be given a freedom to design their own curricular and pedagogical approaches within the approved framework. Means, as per their requirement, they will design their curriculum for the student, but it should be in an approved framework, not as per their not only as per the demand, but what is the broad framework design given by that higher education institution or governing bodies, and excellence will be incentivized. Means the faculty who are working very sincerely, doing well, they should be incentivized. Means some rewards will be given to them, portions should be given to that faculty who is working with excellence. And there should be the independent and transparent process of faculty recruitment. Means on merit basis, recruitment should be made independently, transparently, and it is expected that once the faculty is recruited in one institution, he should not be transferred to other institution. Then and then only he will work with devotion, commitment, and tenure track. This tenure track is nothing but when any faculty as a entered in the education system, he should have a probation period. After completion of the successful probation period, his service will be confirmed, and that is called as a tenure track. If his progress is not satisfactory, then the probation period should be increased, and after completing that probation period, then and then only his service will be continued. Then the next point is equity and inclusive in higher education. The present education system, I have already told you that was not inclusive. But what are the facts or packets for exclusion? Why the present education system was not inclusive? Why it was exclusive? Then the first thing for the exclusiveness of the present education system was lack of knowledge of higher education opportunities. Means our students are not aware about what are the opportunities after completing the higher education. That is the lack of the knowledge to the students. Second thing, economy opportunity cost pursuing higher education. Means the fee structure of higher education institution is high, so easily students does not enroll in the higher education for higher education. Third one is the financial constraint. So many rural students, economically backward students, they are not aware about the various types of scholarship made available by the government, and due to the lack of the knowledge of the facilities made available by the government, they come under the financial constraint and does not take admission in the higher education. Third one is the admission process is not easy. Particularly for the professional courses, vocational courses, centralized admission process is there, and due to that, this admission process, geographical and language barriers is also there. And so in the new education policy, it is recommended that there will be the education in local languages, local Indian languages, or bilingual education system should be established. Third one is the poor employability potential of many higher education programs. All of you know that in present situation, how many our students after completing their degree, post graduation, they get the employability, and so due to this poor employability potential, the students are not eager to take admission in the higher education program. And last one is the lack of appropriate student support mechanism. So there is no proper appropriate student support mechanism presently established in every higher education institution, and due to that, the present higher education system is exclusive. To make it inclusive, what steps government should take? Then the first step to be taken by the government for making the new education policy inclusive, first steps that should be taken by the government is first is suitable government funds for education of socio-economically disadvantaged group. Suitable funds government will provide, should have to provide. Enhance gender balance in admission to higher education institution. Set clear target of higher gross enrollment ratio for socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Develop and support higher education institution that teach in local Indian languages or bilingually. Enhance access by establishing higher education institution in aspirational district and special education zone having large number of socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Provide more financial assistance and scholarship to SEDGS in both public and private higher education institute. Conduct outreach programs on higher education opportunities and scholarship among SEDGS. These outreach programs should be conducted by each and every institution. Back. Develop support technology tools for better participation and learning. Means online programs should be made available for their students. And next, what are the steps to be taken by what steps to be taken by the institution? First is the admission process, make it inclusive, make curriculum more inclusive, mitigate opportunity cost and fees, means reduce opportunity cost and fees for pursuing higher education, conduct outreach on higher education opportunities and scholarship, provide more financial assistance and scholarship, develop more degree courses, develop bridge courses for the students, slow learner students, particularly from the socio-economically disadvantaged group, increase employability potential of the higher education programs. So for that, we should have to restructure our curriculum that will be made more employable. Strictly enforce of all discrimination and anti-harassment rule. Ensure sensitization of faculty, means faculty will be more sensitive for their students. Develop institutional development plan that contains specific plan for increasing participation for socio-economically disadvantaged group. And the next point is teacher education. The teacher education is because all of us know that when anybody enters in any profession, a training is given to it. In similar way, anybody interested to come in the teaching profession, so there should be the professional education should be given to it, to everybody. At school level, B.Ed colleges are there to give a teaching training. But as per the Justice V.S. Verma Commission that was established by the government in 2012, and he has its outcome of his reports are very serious, that teacher education institution, that standalone teacher education are still selling their degrees, means they are not giving a proper training to the teachers. But what about the faculty, anybody, students entering in a teaching profession in a higher education? There is no any such a training institution. Then in the new education policy, it is recommended that such institutions should be there. Some training should be made, should be given to the to anybody who are eager to enter in a teaching profession. Means before entering the service, training will be given to the students interested to become a faculty, become a teacher in higher education. Second thing, teacher education require multidisciplinary inputs. Means what? Not only particular subject should be taught to that student, but student psychology, student philosophy is interested. Yes, so that should be reduced. And admission to pre-service teacher preparation program shall be through suitable subject and aptitude test conducted by the NTA, National Testing Agency. Mean that through that National Testing Agency, the admission to pre-service teacher preparation programs will be given, and after completion of that teacher preparation program, that successful candidates will be allowed to enter in the teaching profession. All PhD entrants, newcomers, irrespective of their discipline, will require to take credit-based course in teaching, education, pedagogy, writing related to their subject. And the most important thing is that there is a continuous professional development for the colleges and university teachers will be continued through existing institutional arrangement. Now, presently, all of you know that we attend the orientation program, refresher programs, and we make our professional development. That that facility will be available, but with the help of orientation program, refresher programs, only limited number of faculties are given training. But through the SWAYAM and Diksha, that are the online platforms. Through that online platform, a large number of teachers are trained and will be facilitated with the new technologies coming in the education field. That SWAYAM means it is the subject web a portal for the young aspiring minds, and Diksha is a digital infrastructure knowledge sharing. These are the two platforms, online platform. Through them, so many courses will also be available for the teachers as well as for the students, and student can also register their name on the SWAYAM in June, and in January we can register your name on the SWAYAM portal and can complete a particular program, and that credit will be considered for our degree also. the national mission for mentoring shall be established. Now, because the time is going to over within 2 to 5 minutes, I will complete. The time is very less, so I will focus particularly on reimagining vocational education, and presently what are the funding agency to the higher education, and later on what the important things what that should we have to focus. The reimagining vocational education, we know that only 5% of our workforce receiving the formal vocational education in India, as compared with the developed country in USA. 50% of the workforce, they are getting the vocational education. In Germany, 75% of the workforce getting the vocational education. In South Korea, it is around 96%. So what target the government have, what is the target of the government in the new education policy? By 2050, at least 50% of the learners through the school and higher education system shall have exposure to vocational education. For that, at school level also, the schools, colleges can make a collaboration with the IIT, NIT, and industry to avail the vocational education at school level also. The vocational programs introduced in India in 2030, that will continue on, and simultaneously the higher education institutions can also start some vocational certificate courses in collaboration with the industry or IITs, NITs, or other institution who has infrastructure of the vocational education. For that, national NSQF, National School Qualification Framework, will be detailed further for each discipline, vocational, vocation, and profession. In India, on research, investment is very less. Only 0.69% of the GDP. This is the amount of investment with the GDP on research. In USA, it is around 2.8%. In Israel, 4.3% of its GDP, and in South Korea, it is 4.2% of its GDP, gross domestic product. Currently, the research funding agencies are DST, Department of Science Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Atomic Energy, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, Indian Council of Medical Research, Indian Council of Historical Research, and UGC. Presently, these are the funding agencies. But in the new education policy, it is recommended that the NRF, National Research Foundation, will be established, and that will provide a fund uh, for the peer-reviewed research at college and institutions. The activities of the NRF is to fund competitive peer-reviewed grant proposal of all types and across all disciplines, seed, grow, and facilitate research at academic institutions, that is colleges as well as university. Act as a liaison, means a coordinator between researcher and relevant branch of government and industry, so that the research should be directly useful for the industry, or what type of research is required. As per that, the research institutions or faculty will focus on that. With this few words, I would like to conclude my topic, that is the introduction of the new National Education Policy 2022. If you have any questions, you may ask. त्यांचं स्क्रीन.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your very important talk on this introduction of national education policy. The title of this faculty development program itself is role of teacher in new national education policy. And in the light of this, your talk was very important. I hope we all will get benefited by the instructions or very few suggestions that sir had made. The data that he had given, the information that he had provided to us is really very much useful, sir. Thank you very much. And very soon we are here. I request all delegates that there is no break and we are here for the valedictory session. Honorable guest for the valedictory session, that is principal of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi is there. He is also director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD. I request Honorable Jasbinder Singh, sir, if you are there, should we start valedictory, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before Honorable Sir is there, actually we are running beyond time. I express my apologies to Honorable Jasbinder Singh, sir, for the session in collided with one another. Before we start our valedictory session, I request our principal, Principal Dr. S.R. Nimbore, sir, to have a welcome note of this valedictory session. Honorable Principal Dr. Sopan Rao Sahib Nimbore, Principal Advocate B.D. Hambarde Mahavidyalaya Ashok. Welcome note in this valedictory session.
Thank you, Abhay sir.
म्यूट करोगे?
Hello. Thank you. First of all, myself, Principal Dr. S.R. Nimbore, Advocate B.D. Hambarde Mahavidyalaya Ashok. I welcome all guests in the valedictory session of a week-long faculty development program as a joint venture of Advocate B.D. Hambarde Mahavidyalaya Ashok and Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, Khalsa. Honorable Chairperson Kishore Nana Hambarde, President of Asti Taluka Section Prasarak Mandal. Chief Guest, Honorable Professor Jaswinder Singh, Principal of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Guest of Honor, Honorable Principal Dr. K.C. Moite sir, Principal C.T. Bora College, Sirur, District Pune. Honorable Professor Vimal Rar ma'am, Project Head and Joint Director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. First of all, before we start valedictory session, I want to have a brief review of all sessions. We started this faculty development program on 22nd September 2022. Guest of inauguration of Honorable Dr. A.K. Bakshi was very much energetic personality, Chairman of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. Honorable Bakshi advocated the need of integrated approach of teaching and learning. In the keynote address, Honorable Bakshi sir also gave valuable tips to all teachers. The guest of honor, Dr. Vimal Rar, talked about the key activities of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. The session was followed by my E-class technical session where Honorable Himanshi ma'am gave all necessary instructions to delegates. Day 2, we had very important sessions as methodology for e-content development by Honorable Vimal ma'am and quality education in university and colleges by Honorable Principal Dr. K.C. Moite sir. Coincidentally, Vimal ma'am and K.C. Moite sir both are present in the valedictory session also. In day 3, the resource persons, Professor J.S. Patil, gives the valuable suggestions and information amongst the vision, mission, and provisions in national education policy or new education policy. And next, Dr. Syed Azharuddin sir gives the information amongst the teacher and skill development in students. Day 4 was meant for self-study, and day 5, the research person, Principal Pahade sir, gives the information about focus on outcome-based education, and Dr. Deepak Nanore sir gives the valuable information about the online and digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. And today, session first by Honorable Dr. Pandit is my friend, was important in the light of new education policy. I must appreciate the attempt of all team in Advocate B.D. Amberde Mahavidyalaya Asti and Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. I appreciate all delegates for their regular presence and attentiveness. The assignments, projects, and quiz are a part of the faculty development program. I appeal for the same cooperation throughout. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All the participants, I must say thank to you for your very active presence, and we had as good as more than 200 registrations for this, and those who could not find time to be present for live sessions, they did their inflexible mode. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Honorable Jasbinder Singh, before I request him and before he starts, let me have a very brief introduction of Honorable Chief Guest of this valedictory session, Honorable Professor Jasbinder Singh, the Principal of Khalsa College, and he is also Director of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. Sir, you have been a co-principal investigator in e-PG Pathshala, which was awarded by UGC to develop e-content for 16 papers of PG in economics, and you have developed 6 massive open online courses in economics hosted on Swayam portal of Ministry of Human Resource Development. You had been a member of UGC committee to review automation status of colleges in 2009 to 2014. You have been also a member of advisory committee UGC nominee 2013 onwards, Center for Studies in Guru Granth Sahib Guru Nanak Dev University. Sir, you have been a convener of UGC committee to draft undergraduate courses for the implementation of choice-based credit system in 2015. You have been a member of Standing Committee of Students of Academic Council University of Delhi for 1994 to 1998 to advise and decide the academic hardships of the students regarding admissions and examinations. Sir, this is very short bio of you. I know by your guidance, you will be introduced to us more than that. I request Honorable Jasbinder Singh to guide us, the chief guest of this valedictory session. Honorable Jasbinder Singh. I request Honorable Chief Guest Jasbinder Singh, please continue. Sir, am I audible to you?
Yeah, thank you very much for this. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. And let me at the outset express my gratitude to the principal, Dr. S.R. Nimbore, the BD Hambarde Mahavidyalaya for organizing this very special faculty development program on the role of teachers in the national education policy. I think this is the most appropriate topic for which the teachers should be prepared. And the national education policy, even though it was adopted few years back, but the various universities, they are developing their own roadmaps, and the states are also making their efforts. I also express my gratitude to all the resource persons who have contributed significantly, Professor Bakshi and others, who were the resource persons and who discussed the various areas of the National Education Policy 2020. We in Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center in Khalsa College, this center was established by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, and we have the mandate to help our colleagues throughout the nation to develop certain tools which can help them. And in this area, we have made very substantial effort in motivating the teachers first to write good content in their own subjects, which is their own disciplines. And then we have been helping them to prepare the content and convert it in a form which can be accessed digitally through the various public portals. And as you rightly mentioned that Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center and the Center for E-Learning, which are two centers at Khalsa College, University of Delhi, we have developed content for 6 different courses for the post-graduation, and in the process we have trained the teachers both in terms of their own subjects by organizing various workshops and providing them and bringing them closer to the people who are working in their own disciplines, and then training them, how to convert this good content into through the technology, which can be accessed by almost each one of us, the students, the teachers, the universities, the various institutions. And then, the national education policy, when it was adopted almost 2 years ago, we had faced this situation of corona pandemic, and then we started training the teachers in the use of this content, and also how they can develop their own useful kits for this. That is perhaps the major area of the national education policy. Now, if you look at the national education policy, in higher education, the national education policy is trying to provide a new forward-looking vision to the higher education system. And we have the teachers, we have the students. The higher education policy aims to restructure the higher educational institutions, restructure in the sense that the higher education institutions will be made into multidisciplinary higher education institutions. Multidisciplinary, as we understand, it is a very common term these days, that the institutions will first give a multidisciplinary choices to the students so that they do not remain confined to their own subjects, and they pick up the good points from other subjects also. And then the institutions have to build up the infrastructure for that. They have to build up the possibilities for collaboration with other institutions. And as has been emphasized in the national education policy, that cluster of institutions, maybe in the districts, we do not have many colleges. There may not be many universities also. Ideally, in every district, a university is likely to be set up. And then all the colleges in that district may coordinate efforts in terms of sharing their resources. Multidisciplinary means the science students will have access to the arts and social sciences and humanities, if they want to pick up certain courses in that. Similarly, the students of management economics, they may like to pick up certain areas of, certain areas in the sciences. So they will also be given this facility, and no single educational institution perhaps can meet this challenge. So, the national education policy is aiming to develop the cluster of institutions at the district level or maybe at the zonal level, so that the educational institutions, they can share their resources. And we in University of Delhi University has made some attempt in this area, because the undergraduate curriculum framework has been developed and it has been adopted, and we are going to implement it from 1st of November this year itself. And we are trying to cluster the colleges so that if they have the diverse facilities, if they have specialization in different areas, how we can share the resources with each other. And it is not confined only to the University of Delhi, but it is in the neighborhood also, in adjoining colleges of Haryana, Rajasthan, even in Uttar Pradesh. We are trying to establish the collaboration so that those areas which are not possible uh, in Delhi, the students can go to those institutions maybe on the weekends or whenever there is a semester break, so that they can share the resources and they can learn from the teachers there. And for this, Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center has provided a platform whereby the teachers can develop e-kits, they can develop their content, and they can share with others. Now, before a teacher visits another institution, uh, maybe it can assume the form of a flipped classroom, that we can share our slides with the students before actually having an interaction with them, and then we can have more lively interactions there. Similarly, the science teachers, we can invite some of the students in those colleges or in the neighborhood where perhaps those kind of experiments are not performed. So this is how we are trying to promote interaction between the students. It is a challenging task. It is not always easy, but I think this is how we can go about this, especially when the entire infrastructure facilities in the face of dwindling resources, we cannot develop all those facilities in a single institution. Then the objective of the national education policy is to to have either research oriented universities, research intensive universities, or teaching intensive universities. It is not that the research intensive universities will not be doing the teaching, but there may be, some potential institutions like institutes of science, which can act as lead institutions. Similarly, there can be good institutions which are providing good education, the teaching facilities. They can act as lead institutions for teaching, but this teaching and research, they'll go side and side. But I think the major areas, their core competencies can be recognized, can be identified, and those can be shared. And this is where as it is not only the research universities, but I think some of the teachers may be good teachers, they may not be good researchers, and some of us may be good researchers, we may not be that much keen for teaching. So we can share the experience of these researchers and teachers across institutions, and this is how we can simultaneously promote the research intensive and the teaching intensive universities. But for all this, as the topic suggests, the role of teachers in the national education policy, that is critical. Nothing can be accomplished if we do not prepare the teachers for this century. And this preparation requires a lot of training. We may be very good in our own disciplines, but if we do not know how to deliver that content, we can train the teachers in certain pedagogical ways, which they can use, the methods which they can employ, which they can use very conveniently to deliver the content which they wish to deliver, which they wish to share with others. So I think the training of the teachers is very, very important. And also, it is not that the teachers need to be discipline centric. The teachers have to understand this concept of multidisciplinarity. And if we ourselves are not equipped with that, we need to open up. For instance, I am a student of economics, So I need not merely concentrate on the theoretical economics. If this economics is not useful to the society, then perhaps it is going to lose its importance over a period of time. So therefore, we need to go to the management people, we need to go to the finance, banking, and other areas, marketing, for instance, where we can, offer the students adequate opportunities for this. And this is what is emphasized in this education policy. Each institution will have to have some development plan in its mind, and for that, the role of the teachers and the stakeholders is very important. It is not the principal, it is the entire management of that institution which needs to have some institutional development plan in its mind. And for that, the principal, of course, can play a very significant role, as the vice chancellor plays a very critical role in the university. So here, the whole emphasis should be to train the teachers in such a way that they are able to access the latest knowledge in their field, and in a usable form. It is not confined only to the teaching or the mentoring. The national education policy expects us to promote the research in the fourth year of the degree program. The students in the fourth year of the degree program, they will be required to write a research project or an academic project. For that, the teachers need to be prepared right from day one. If we really want to give adequate research facilities to the students, train them accordingly, then we need to guide them. Uh, what is their future and how they can intensify in their own area of interest, which the student may indicate in the first 2 years. So we need to identify the talent, and then we need to train the students accordingly, create the facilities accordingly, so that by the time he reaches the fourth year or the seventh semester of his course, he is exposed to certain areas of his interest where he can pursue his research further. Today itself, the University Grants Commission has notified, you might have read it in the newspapers, that the students can pursue the PhD after the 4 years of graduation. They need not go for post-graduation even. So you can understand that how intensively we need to train the students for this. And, it is not only the institutions. I think it is not only the principal, but the entire faculty need to have some development perspective in its mind, that where they want to, take their institution to. And accordingly, we need to develop the facilities. Similarly, another aspect which is extremely important is that, the employability of these students. This is a challenge, and University of Delhi, for instance, we have started recruitment of the teachers after a gap of almost 12 to 13 years. We did not recruit the teachers on a regular basis. They were working on ad hoc or guest basis. But now you see, we are finding that it is extremely difficult. The people are coming with good number of publications, good number of, the PhDs, and they're extremely bright. And they want to join the post of an assistant professor even after so much of publications. So you can see that, merely ensuring the degrees may not work in providing employability to the students. So our education needs to be reoriented in a certain way, as has been emphasized in the national education policy, that we need to have the skill component. We need to have the value addition programs in our education system, so that the students, they are given enough confidence that even if they do not find a job on a government platform, they should be able to do some self-centric employable programs, which we call as the startups or others. They should be employable in the industry and the corporate sector if we provide them adequate training. So all these are the areas which have been emphasized in the national education policy, And I'm sure, the experts and the resource persons who delivered their lectures, who interacted with the participants, they might have shared this. And this is how we can prepare. And I, on behalf of University of Delhi and our own institution, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, I can only assure you that, let us come closer through these interactions. And wherever required, we will, we can train the teachers, we can help each other. And it is not necessary that the good teachers are available in some universities or colleges. Good teachers may be available everywhere, but we need to take the knowledge from them, train them in such a way that it is shareable, it is available to others in the rest of the country. And this is how we can share the resources. I'm sure I will not go into the micro details of the national education policy because it is a valedictory function. At the end, I once again express our gratitude on behalf of Khalsa College, University of Delhi, and Guru Angad Dev Ji Teaching Learning Center, which is of the Ministry of Education, for organizing this very special role of teachers program in the form of a 1-week faculty development program at this college, which is very important. And thank you very much for having me here for this valedictory session. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Gomtesh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have to move to the guest of honor, Honorable Principal Monte, sir. He is there. Before that, I must talk about this very important suggestions that he made, especially in multidisciplinary approach of new education policy. We ourselves were not aware about the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. These terms were confusing to many of us, but as per such type of faculty development programs, doubts are cleared and new things are coming by UGC also, in new education policy also. As you made a mention, that teacher is not only teacher, he is researchers, and simultaneous roles all teachers have to play. Along with his teaching activities, he has to perform research activities also, and the research culture to be inculcated into students. That is also a role of teacher. And as you said, to adapt new national education policy, institutions need to be equipped, and for that, principal as a head of institute, he plays very vital role. Management also have their role to play to provide sufficient infrastructure to all of us. Every institute, as you said, has a perspective plan, and we go accordingly. Skill component and value addition also you talked about. Thank you very much, sir, for your very valuable guidance. It will help us throughout our career. Now I request Honorable Mohite sir, the guest of honor. Mohite sir is there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jasbir sir, very much. May I request now Honorable Mohite sir, the guest of honor, Principal of Chanmal Tarachand Bora Mahavidyalaya, Shirur, District Pune of Maharashtra. Honorable Mohite sir is there. He was there for one of the sessions also, and today in valedictory he is guest of honor. Sir, sir, please guide us, sir. Honorable Principal Dr. K.C. Mohite, Principal City Bora College, Shirur, District Pune in Maharashtra. We know him well because he had been there as a resource person in my technical session.
Sir, can I start, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please start.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are perfectly audible, visible also.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Principal Nimbore sir and Khalsa College authorities for organizing such a very important FDP for teachers. And it is our duty, in fact, to aware what exactly is the new education policy and in what way we will be implementing and what kind of inputs will be needed for its effective implementation. Since I am also a member of the implementation committee of Maharashtra State in new education policy, and we have gone through a number of discussions, and there are many areas, in fact, where this policy will definitely enhance the quality of overall education. I would just highlight few points. I will not go into the details, since I could listen lectures of in the morning, Dr. Pandit sir, principal, and just now we had a lecture of Professor Jaswinder sir. And since many people are already talking about new education policy, it's what are the various aspects, criteria, this and that. I would like to highlight only a few points where, in fact, how in what way the quality will be, it will be definitely in a positive manner. See, as far as the recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student by sensitizing teacher as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in both academic and non-academic spheres, that you can see this aspect in this policy. And flexibility, as we can see, so that the learners have the ability to choose their learning trajectories and programs, and thereby choose their own paths in life according to their talents and interests. I think this is very important aspect as far as this policy is concerned. No hard separations between arts, science, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic streams, etc., in order to eliminate harmful hierarchies among and between different areas of learning. So earlier, as we know that NSS, NCC, and these areas, very few students used to take these particular courses, but now there will be credits, and that is definitely will be useful. Multidisciplinary and holistic education across the sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, sports, for a multiplicative world, in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge. Emphasis on conceptual understanding is there. See, many times it misses this particular point. Conceptual understanding is very important, and rather than rote learning, as we know that our students are becoming rote learners, and therefore I think conceptual understanding is a very important aspect of this particular policy. Creativity and critical thinking to encourage logical decision making is one of the important aspects. Ethics and human and constitutional values like empathy, respect for others, cleanliness, courtesy, democratic spirit, spirit of service, public property, scientific temper, liberty, responsibility, then pluralism, equality, justice. And even promoting multilingualism is one of the aspects which I found that very important, and the power of language in teaching and learning. Promoting life skills such as communication, cooperation, teamwork, resilience, and focus is there. Focus on regular formative assessment for learning rather than the summative assessment is also one of the important part which I found, which encourages today's coaching culture, that as we know it is encouraging that. I think that will be one of the important aspects. Extensive use of technology in teaching and learning, removing language barriers, and increasing access for Divyang students, and educational planning and management. Then of course, respect for diversity and respect for the local context in all curriculum, pedagogy, and policy. Always keeps in mind that education is a concurrent subject. Full equity, inclusion on the cornerstone of all the educational decisions to ensure that all the students are able to thrive in the education system. Synergy in curriculum across across all levels of education, from early childhood care and education to school educating to higher education. 2-3 points which I would like to add. Teachers and faculty as the heart of the learning process. There are recruitment, continuous professional development, positive working environment, and service conditions are being taken care. A light but tight regulatory framework to ensure integrity, transparency, and resource efficiency of the education system through audit and public disclosure, while encouraging the innovation and out-of-the-box ideas through then outstanding research as a core requisite for outstanding education and development. Continuous review of progress is there. Then rootedness and pride in India and in its rich, diverse, ancient and modern culture and knowledge system and traditions. And education is a public service. Access to quality education must be considered, and that is one of the is been written over there. So these are some of the points which I just thought to highlight. I think there are many aspects which are definitely will be useful in enhancing the quality of higher education. Only thing is that we all need to give proper inputs and for basically effective implementation of this particular policy. So with these particular words, I am really thankful to organizers for giving me an opportunity to express my views on this particular policy. As we know that since it is our last day, and I will not take much time. Wish you all the best, and let us work together. Let us interact on different various platforms and see how we can really enhance the quality of higher education with all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the points that you mentioned about multilingualism and about life skill. Our principal said that on that particular day, Mohite sir could not complete his remaining points, and today you did it. I express my very sincere gratitude to you for this. And the chairperson of this valedictory session, as was decided by Honorable President of our institute, out of his busy schedule, he is not able to join. But Honorable Bimal ma'am, as the chairperson of this session, I request she is there online. I request Honorable Bimal ma'am to conclude the sessions.
Thank you, Ravi. Good afternoon, everyone. Very respected Principal Professor Jaswinder Singh, very respected guest of honor, Principal Dr. K.C. Mohit, very respected principal of this institution, I think in absentia, Dr. Limbore, other distinguished personalities, all the organizing team members of this esteemed institution, and all my dear colleagues who have been in this virtual co-learning journey of 1 week faculty development program conducted in collaboration with Hambardi College and GAD TLC at Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Khalsa College, University of Delhi. I am sure and thankful to all the resource persons who have delivered their expertise, the knowledge they have gained over the years that they have shared with all of you. I am so much thankful to all of them. I am also thankful to Ministry of Education, my governing body, my principal, for taking this center in such a great way that we are able to collaborate throughout the country and able to learn from each other. So GAD-TLC, I will say, is a platform where we can all collaborate, and especially when we are implementing anything, This is a changing time where there has to be greater responsibilities in terms of what expertise we have and how do we share it amongst the fellow colleagues so that entire system can be changed and adapted to that. I will not take much time because already much deliberations have happened. But my humble request to all my dear colleagues, whatever you have learned, just don't confine it with yourself, share it with your fellow colleagues, and try to share it with also, try to handhold the school education system, which also needs support from higher education, which is also put up in NEP 2020. So with these words, I will say congratulations to all of you for completing this. But completion comes with a rider. You'll have to complete all the assignment, quizzes, projects, and all. And I'm sure you'll be able to do because of this flexible mode. So, and I am looking forward that yes, many of you will be learning more programs in our future programs, and those who can collaborate and conduct programs, please, we welcome you. You can write to us on TLC email ID. We'll share it in your group. And do share the Telegram group so that other teachers can also benefit from this system. Benefit not just for the promotional requirement, but in real sense where, and I will also looking for feedback of today where you please tell that what are the other topics you will like the GAD TLC to be conducting, which will be beneficial to you. So with these words, thank you so much. Thank you, entire team of this institution conducted this program very well, and thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your being chairperson of this valedictory session. I know you had to run to your classes at 12:40, so we concluded it. And the activities, especially E-activities, E.G. Pathshala, be it Swayam or just a minute. Our principal wants to speak.
Thank you, ma'am. Today is the Abhay's birthday.
Birthday wishes to him. I think from all.
Thank you, ma'am. It's very good occasion actually. Recently started on 22nd, but on the very day I came to know that it will end with my birthday only. Thank you very much. All E-activities, as you said, E-activities were there before pandemic also. But very honestly speaking, we came to know about all E-activities, be it online lecturing, be it Google Class or whatever social media, teaching online, working from home. All these things we started just after pandemic only. And your contribution, be it MOOC or Swayam or as I said, PG Pathshala, your contribution is very nice, man, and all your team is working very good. I am also looking forward from all delegates to complete the assignments as in due time. I'm repeating here that 2nd of October is the deadline for those who are attending live sessions, and 9th of October is the deadline for those who are opting flexible mode. We'll complete it in time. I am very much sure. I thank all of us. Before that, I must thank our President, Honorable Kishore Chihambade, who was expected to be here, but out of his busy schedule, he could not. But all the infrastructure, and especially IT infrastructure, he encouraged us all for participating online, and our principal also had made it mandatory for all of us to organize at least one online seminar. So we organize these webinars at national and international level, every department of our institute. As Honorable Jasminder Singh had mentioned, that principal's role is very vital role, and that we are playing. I am very much happy to be working with our team and co-learning with your team. I am looking forward for the same cooperation throughout. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you all delegates.
Thank you everyone. I would like to take it.
Very, very happy returns of the day.